Welcome to Canadian Justice. I'm Christine Van Gyn, and today we're talking about the sovereignty and security of Canada's Arctic and how Russia's war against Ukraine has raised new questions about increased risks Canada may face from a more aggressive Russia. Canada claims sovereignty over the upper regions of North America, along with the related archipelago. Canada has more Arctic landmass than any other country, but one of the smallest Arctic populations. Our Arctic includes parts of the Northwest Territory, Nunavut, the Yukon, as well as some parts of Newfoundland and northern Quebec. Russia has been building its military presence in the Arctic over recent years, and their recent invasion of Ukraine has raised doubt about President Putin's long-standing claim that he wants a peaceful Arctic zone. Here today to talk about Canada's Arctic sovereignty and security are three experts. Tom Axworthy is the Public Policy Chair at Massey College. Professor Whitney Lachenbauer is the Canada Research Chair in the Study of Canadian North and a professor at Trent University. And Professor Robert Hubert teaches at Advanced Studies in Canadian Arctic Security at the University of Calgary. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Rob, I'll start with you. Has Russia's invasion of Ukraine increased the risk of Russian aggression in the Arctic?
Highlighted the risk. Let's be very clear, of course, what we're talking about. The invasion starts in 2014. We've seen actual efforts on the part of the Putin administration to consolidate his ability to have strategic and tactical nuclear forces that go all the way back to 2002, 2003. I think what the reemergence of this of their attack really is illustrating is just the fact that Russia, A, does not play by the rules that we have established within the international system, the fact that they have the bulk of their geostrategic weapon systems in the north, and the fact that Putin has threatened to utilize them has reminded everybody that we are dealing with a very dangerous situation that by its very location and nature is nuclear, and it's in the Arctic.
Tom, same question to you. Do you think that there's an increased risk of Russian aggression in the Arctic?
Well, the invasion of Ukraine throws really all the assumptions we've had about foreign policy since the end of the Cold War. You put those all in a basket now. We have to rethink our approaches on virtually everything because we're back to 1939. I mean, this is a very different world, and the greatest danger, of course, is if there's an entanglement with NATO in Latvia, Norway. Then Canada, through Article 5, will be a participant in that war. In that case, then Russia may actually seek to have some incursions in the Arctic itself. But I think it's more subsidiary to the threats that we are all in through NATO and Russia's threat to its neighbors.
Yeah, I want to dive deeper into the NATO question in the next segment. There's a lot to get into there. But Whitney, first I want your take on, do you think that the invasion of Ukraine by Russia has symbolized kind of a new and emerging, more aggressive Russia that could lead to an increased threat to the Arctic for Canada?
Yeah, thanks, Christine. I agree with both my colleagues in the strategic context. I would suggest no, I don't see a heightened risk to the Canadian Arctic directly. More generally, I think that the worries about a general war with Russia are heightened. So from that standpoint, the Arctic as a thoroughfare or threats through the Canadian Arctic, yes, are something that we have to be looking at in a more present way than perhaps we have been. But in terms of the Canadian Arctic being a particular target for Russia, in terms of military aggression, not in the conventional sense, and I don't think in a nuclear sense. I think more we may see as part of Russia's response to some pretty bold changes happening in the broader Arctic space vis-a-vis Sweden and Finland joining NATO, as seeing aggression in the information space. So more activities by Russia emboldened to try to polarize debate in democracies like Canada, but not what the military referred to as a kinetic attack. I don't see somebody, launching missiles at the Canadian Arctic or an invasion of Ellesmere Island.
Now, I think one of the things that I really want to get into is this NATO question. We're going to talk about it in the next segment. But really, there are 8 Arctic states, and with the potential inclusion of Finland and Sweden in NATO, who are not currently members, they're Arctic nations, is that going to change any of the calculus? Let's go to the next segment, and we will dig into that question.